Of the BRICS New Development Bank, Kamath, says that speed is what differentiated his bank from others such as the World Bank. In his first public lecture in South Africa yesterday, he said emerging market economies need to have projects approved and implemented quickly. Our reporter Tumaole Mohlaoli spoke to him about the bank's role in the development of emerging countries.
For a long time, the developing countries have had this feeling that development banks, in a way, talk to them as a borrower-lender relationship and not as a partner relationship, because one way to look at it is a partnership for economic development. And we thought that we would position ourselves in that context. So we internalize and understand their needs and work together.
Right. And in terms of positioning itself, the BRICS New Development Bank, what kind of capital base are you working on? And can your members expect that you will hit the ground running?
In fact, we have been set up 4 months back. Our foundation is ready and we will make our first loans in April of the coming year. So I think that's about as fast that you can do, go with a bank. The capital base, there's a set schedule in terms of capital. Capital that is talked of in the Articles of Association is 100 billion. Of course, we may not need all that capital to start with. There's a commitment to bring in 10 billion of capital in a phased manner over the next few years, with the first tranche of capital coming in next month.
That's a very, very tight time frame. And in terms of your expectations, and in terms of engagement, what are your expectations from the countries, member countries who come and request a loan and get a granted one?
That is what typically happens. You engage in a dialogue with the country as to what it expects its need to be, and you work in a win-win way to make that possible. I would say that we already have a set of projects that most of our member countries have already shared. And as far as South Africa is concerned, we have an appraisal team coming in today to start appraising the projects that they have forwarded to us.
And what will be your key focus in terms of the proposals from countries?
Key focus is clearly infrastructure and sustainable borrowing for sustainable purposes. So we will stay within that guideline. And within infrastructure is a very wide mandate. We could look at any type of infrastructure. Again, in terms of currencies, in terms of the instruments that we use, there are no constraints. It's very flexible.
Right. And in terms of servicing the loans, what kind of formula are you looking at? It looks like it's a bit too good to be true.
I will put it this way, that we do not want a formula-driven loan structure. Because when you look at a developing country, each country may have a different character. A country may say that this project, for us to make it viable, is going to take us 20 years. You may look at a long tenor. And somebody else could say that, well, this project, we believe, given where we are, can service the loan in 10 to 12 years. We'll design a loan appropriately. Of course, we will do our own evaluation sitting with the company, with the borrower country. So that's how we will work.
Right. And in terms of keeping the borrower countries honest, and in terms of keeping them, making sure that they service their loans and don't default, how will this be managed?
These are all sovereign relationships. Our members are sovereigns. They have consequences in terms of their default, because that's at a sovereign level. So I think there is an inbuilt discipline in the process. I would think the real answer to your question is, if the project is worthwhile, if the project is going to add value to the country, clearly that loan will be serviced.
Treasury initiative